Tigers, a 4-point loss to the Saints. It was a bit of a frustrating afternoon, wasn't it, that game? Just wanting to do a bit of a review of the game a couple of days afterwards, but I've been able to sort of gather my thoughts a bit because I suppose, like a lot of Richmond fans, we didn't have many games this year that we thought we'd be in with a chance of winning. So the fact that we were in with a chance of winning was obviously a very good thing. But the way in which we lost and how some things transpired during the game, I think there was a lot of highly emotive people during the game while watching it, like just from a place of passion of wanting to win. And I think that's all okay. And it's maybe not until you wait a couple of days after and take a few deep breaths and gather your thoughts and whatnot that you maybe see things a little bit differently or a little bit clearer, whichever way you want to put it. But never nice to not take the 4 points. We lost 7-10, 52 to 8-8, 56. Obviously we did have the lead from the third quarter, and they sort of pegged it back a little bit in the last quarter, hit the front, and we just weren't able to get that one last shot of goal to convert another chance to go ahead. It wasn't through lack of trying. We definitely had chances. Our work front of centre has not been great this year. We all know that. And the game against St Kilda, for me, was just a real highlight of how much we need to improve that part of our game. And I don't think that's any secret to the club or to the fans. I think we all are on the same page there. And I'm talking about 5 or 10% improvement in that part of the ground would see a substantial difference in results. It would probably have allowed us to convert at least 3 games this year, which would have been handy, but it wasn't to be. But I guess I was a bit more disappointed with this loss because it probably was the most experienced team we've fielded all year. So I guess when you start to field a more experienced side, the level of expectation increases, I think. I think we're, as supporters, probably a little bit less forgiving with basic fundamental mistakes when it comes to a whole raft of experienced players. When kids do it, there's a bit more at play. You can kind of wear it and cop it and understand it. But this was, I think, easily our most experienced side for the year. And there was just some really, really bad mistakes along the journey that unfortunately cost us the game. And, we'll learn a bit from it. We fought it out. We're closer than what maybe a lot of us thought, given the Saints knocked us off by 82 points the first time around. So it's a good turnaround in that sense. But it was definitely frustrating to lose a game that we really should have won. But we'll take a look at some player stats quickly. Jack Ross led the way for us, 26 disposals, 6 marks, 2 tackles, 5 clearances. Taranto, 23 touches, 4 marks, 1 tackle. Sonzi, 20 disposals, 4 marks, 2 clearances. And he actually had 5 centre-bounce attendances too, which was really nice to see. He had a really good first half. I thought he was maybe our best player in the first half. He was leading disposal winner as well at about 80% at half time. And look, he probably faded a little bit as the game got on. Definitely wasn't his worst game. I thought he performed really well, but it was good to see him impact the contest early. Jaden Short, 19 touches. Vlosten, 19 touches. Sam Banks, 19 touches. But I do want to give a shout out and credit, and I think we do this almost every week, it feels like, but our backline again stood really, really tall. Tyler Young and Ben Miller have been outstanding in this last 5 weeks. You can't speak highly enough of the work that they're doing. And what's been really interesting with Tyler Young in particular, there's now all of a sudden this brand new offensive side to his game that no one ever really saw back prior to the knee injury. We saw bits of it in the VFL upon his return this year, but I feel like it's gone to a new level. I mean, he ended up with 17 disposals, 9 marks, 1 clearance, if you don't mind, and 531 metres gained, which was a team high. So he had the team high metres gained. And I reckon a lot of that would have come from the last 10 or 15 minutes of the game. He was the guy that was actually trying to run, drive, and create off the back line. He was making a 35, 40 metre pass, following it up, receiving the handball, kicking it again, following it up. It was almost like, I want to say it was almost like a set play to get the ball in his hands. I don't know if it was that structured or if he just happened to be the player in the best spot, but he was the one trying to make the plays happen. And I guess you would probably be expecting that to come from Sam Banks or Jaden Short. And credit to Tyler Young backing himself in. And honestly, his disposal and Ben Miller's disposal have improved dramatically. And they've actually now become really good offensive kickstarters for counterattacks from the back line. So no longer are we relying on just Banks and Short, for example, to do it. These guys are taking off dangerous kicks and kick-starting chains of play, which is really exciting to see. It gives us more avenues. And I'm really liking what I'm seeing. And look, it leads itself to a secondary video later on, but I don't see why we would upset or disrupt this back six anytime soon. I think they've got their shit sorted, and it's working quite well for us. Shorty had 11 marks as well. I wanted to highlight too. I thought that was a really good effort. Ryan Mansell, I was weirdly seeing a lot of negative comments about Ryan Mansell's game, and I didn't quite make sense of it. I thought he was one of our better players. 17 disposals, 2 goals, 5 marks, 7 tackles, which was a team high. It was quite easily his best game for a while. I thought he played really well. That goal he kicked, that's a bloody difficult shot on the boundary line. Like, in a point in time where we're struggling to get goal kickers on the board, and he's kicking clutch goals from the boundary line, which he's done, I think, the last couple of weeks, that's a really important thing to have happen. And I thought he played a bit of a part in the Wanganeen Malira stuff along the way, and I thought he had a really good game. So, well done to him. Taj Houghton, he will eventually take Mark of the Year, mark my words. I know he only had the 10 touches, but the deft handballs, the taps, the diving in on the ball, it just does a lot of things that can't be taught. Like, you just either know how to do that or when to do that, or you don't. And he's going to be a very special footballer for many years to come. Looking at some team stats, we actually won clearances this week, which is a really, really good turnaround, to be honest, from a coaching perspective and a player perspective. We won at 36-31. Stoppage clearances primarily, we won 30-24. We actually lost centre clearances 6-7, but a 1 differential is, you can obviously cope with that all the time. The other shout out I want to give to the coaching staff and the players too is that during the first quarter, it was quite evident St Kilda were just chipping it around, racking up uncontested possession, and we were probably sitting too far back, too deep in our defensive half, and we needed to adjust because we were just letting them pick their way through until they got close enough that they could either have a shot or things just kept opening up. And thankfully, we made the adjustment at quarter time, and pretty much from then on, we controlled the territory game. We denied them their chipping around game. We denied them a lot of the corridor use. So I thought it was really good from the coaching staff and the players to A, identify it, and then B, devise a plan and execute it all at the same time, essentially. So that was really good to see. We still did lose the uncontested possession count, 206-273. It would be interesting to see what the breakdown was of that across each quarter. I would hazard a guess that most of that damage was done in quarter 1 and not so much over the last 3 quarters. It was just too hard to peg it back. Not that it doesn't always dictate the outcome of a game, but it would have been nice to have reduced it a little bit. We did win contested possession, though, 120-109, which was good. Contested marks, we won 11-7, which is good. I saw a lot of people commenting about the tackle side of the game too. We had 41 tackles and they had 80 tackles. So, the opposition getting double the tackles isn't great, but I feel like we're going back into this method of corralling rather than tackling, and it feels and seems very deliberate. I'm not really sure yet one way or another on how effective it is, but what I did like from a tackle perspective is of those 41 tackles, 15 of them were inside 50. That's a really good number. Our 2025 average is 8, so we've almost doubled that. And you got to remember that there's been multiple weeks where that tackle inside 50 number has been 2, 3 or less. So to hit 15, that's a good sign of work rate and intent. And the overall 41-80, I think it's a bit to do with our game style, with being more about corralling rather than tackling. But yeah, proof. I think we need to see a bit more of a sample size to see if that's what we think is going to work moving forward or not. But there was a few other talking points within the game, I guess. I think the first half, we handled Wanganeen Malira really well as a team. Dion Prestia was sort of sitting side by side with him at stoppages, did a really good job. I felt the handover was good whenever he changed position. Then it kind of felt like we steered away from that a little bit in the second half. Having said that, though, I know Nasai got 30-odd disposals, but a lot of those were from him kicking out. I would say nearly 60% would have been from that. And that's a good ploy by Ross Lyon, so I don't want to take away from their coaching side of things. But I just felt that we dropped away our presence and our pressure on him late in the game, and he was just manning the corridor, essentially, just waiting for the ball to come in board. And we kind of had visual on where he was, but we weren't really close checking. Could we have shut him down a bit better as the game got on? Maybe, but I don't think that was why we lost. I think we had more than enough chances of our own to get that final score, and we just didn't do it. So that was a bit disappointing. And then Steely Green wasn't subbed on, which was a really interesting move to not execute. Uze did mention post-game that Ryan Mansell had a twinge in the ankle, but he obviously recovered okay. So they felt there wasn't really a need to do it, I guess, from an injury standpoint. But then I guess the question becomes, was there a need to do it from a tactical standpoint? I think there'll be forever arguments about whether we should or shouldn't have, but in the end we didn't. I would have thought bringing Steely on with a bit of pace and some goal sense late in the game might have done us a favour. But the coaching staff didn't think the same way, and they have to wear that one. So Noah Bolter up forward as well, just quickly, which I'll do on a separate video, but I was a big fan. I really like it, and I think it's something we need to persist with. And my only sort of other final thought on this is we just need to we need more from our senior players from just doing the basics well. Like Tom Lynch missed a really easy target early that turned into a turnover, St Kilda goal. Camden McIntosh, while he kicked that goal, he had a pretty average game, to be honest. And it wasn't just the last bit of play. There was a lot of other bits of play as well that he didn't do very well. But players can have bad games, and that's okay. That happens from time to time. It just kind of felt like that a lot of our senior guys were a bit off the boil all at the same time. And it just opened the door for St Kilda to get a couple of easy goals that we shouldn't have really let them get, to be honest. But look, that is a final thought on the game against St Kilda. Disappointed to get the loss, but definitely plenty of positives to come out of it. You can see the direction we're heading. You can see the ball movement we're trying to do. It's just that final connection piece to execute and finish all the hard work. And when that comes, we'll feel a lot better about ourselves, and our score should start to creep up a bit more. But let us know what you think in the comments below about the game. What did you like? What did you not like? And we will see you all on Monday night, which will be tonight by the time this video is posted, 8:30 p.m. for the live show. So make sure you get around it. Until the next one, go Tigers.